It's time to get your budget ready for September. So we're going to go over all the things you need to remember to budget for, some simple money challenges to help you get a little bit ahead and make sure that you're looking out for future you, and of course, all the things that are on sale and in season this month. Let's go! Hey friends, I'm Sarah Wilson, also known as Budget Girl, and for the last 9 years on the internet, I have been working to get myself, and by extension you, better with money. One of those things is to budget every single month. And I created this guide actually for me a while back so that I wouldn't forget those things that come up only, once or twice a year, and to challenge myself to get just a little bit better each month. Sometimes we ask the impossible of ourselves, but little baby steps still move us forward. So first off, don't forget to subscribe and like if you like this type of encouraging content. Let's start off with some things you need to not forget to budget for, because they'll sneak up on you. First is Labor Day. So a lot of us have off for the early September holiday, and you might be inclined to travel or host, and you need to remember to budget for anything associated with that. Don't forget food, shopping, entertainment, travel, gas, etc. Next, school is back in session if you have kids, and activity fees, school lunches, that type of thing are going to come in hard and fast. School lunches can be $3 to $4 a day, if not more, which can add up to hundreds of dollars a month that you didn't necessarily want to spend on kid lunches. Either way, make sure to budget for this expense or budget for supplies to brown bag it. A couple of weeks back into school can also mean unexpected sports fees, uniform fees, field trips, and more. Even though you've probably already just shelled out for a bunch of back to school supplies, it's a good idea to keep a little reserve budget for things that might pop up in these first couple of months of school. Next is family photos. It's a very popular fall tradition, especially recently, and you need to budget for it if you're going to do it, unless of course you choose to just do it with like an iPhone or unless you just choose to do it with like a tripod and a phone, which is totally fine, and I highly encourage that. But you may also choose to hire a photographer or buy outfits that match, and if so, you might want to budget for clothing, props, travel, and of course the photographer fees. One little pro tip is that you can find a lot of photographers doing mini sessions this time of year, which are generally around like $50 to $150, depending on where you are, where you may only get a few images, but maybe that's all you need. Facebook is a great place to look for affordable photographers doing these types of mini sessions, and you might have to travel to them or do with a preset background. But if it's something that you like and enjoy doing with your family, you can certainly find a way to do it on a budget. Next is Halloween. Now, I know we're in September, not October yet, but Halloween stuff is out now and it's not gonna really get restocked. So if there's some decor or some particular costume that you're really dead set on, you might wanna budget for it this month because it might not be there in October. Don't forget to check secondhand shops because a lot of times you can find elements for costumes and decor that people donated last year for a fraction of the price of buying new. In addition to helping you save money, it helps save the environment. Just because you're a spooky bitch doesn't mean you can't save $1. Next is fall festivals. As soon as things start to cool down, people will want to be outside, and there will be all sorts of fun events that you can go to, hay rides, pumpkin patches, other fun carnival type things, because everyone has been so hot. It's been over 100 for like a month here in Texas. But of course, anytime you go to these types of events, you're going to spend money. So remember to budget for the cotton candy and the fresh lemonade and any rides or anything like that that you might want to participate in. Make sure to check your community calendar for free or super cheap events that you can go to enjoy the fall weather. And at most places, you're probably going to be good to bring food along, or at least snacks, for this type of outdoor event to save yourself a little money if you want to. Another expensive fall tradition is, of course, tailgates and football games. Coming at you from Texas A&M here on my lunch break. Yeah, it's a big deal. I've never really loved sports, but she's a big deal and she's expensive. And honestly, whether you're hosting a TV watching sports party at home or actually making your way out to the tailgates or buying tickets for the game, which are like $500 a piece here, oh my God. I'm seeing people reselling their like Bama tickets for that. I'm just like, Taylor Swift, maybe. Aggie football, no. Personal preference though. money and entertainment is very personal. But you will need money to enjoy these entertainment, either for food, for new gear. So whether you're doing an in-home party or going out to the actual tailgate or game, you're gonna wanna make sure to budget for extremely overpriced food, possibly parking, new merch to rep your team, travel, of course, and make sure to squeeze in just a little bit of wiggle room because you never know what's gonna come up, like maybe an umbrella if it suddenly rains. And then the very final thing that you should remember to budget for is sort of cool weather / transitional clothing, and we're gonna talk more about that soon. Let's move on to our September money challenges. So first off, it is Emergency Preparedness Month. FEMA, the Federal Emergency Management Agency, dedicates September to helping people prepare for emergencies before they happen. Now, this might seem completely out of the blue for you, but I'm actually a Katrina kid, so I got displaced for multiple months after Hurricane Katrina hit my hometown when I was in high school. And ever since then, I have made sure to be prepared for emergencies. A few years ago in Texas, we got absolutely insane winter storms that knocked out power for days, and I was so glad that I had these supplies ready before they happened. Now, I'm not an extreme prepper by any means, but I do think that everyone should have some preps in place, some food, water, flashlights, that type of thing, for an emergency situation, because when one of those actually happens, it's often too late to purchase those items. Because I'm Budget Girl, I have some amazing free resources for you on how to create these types of kits and plans for your family completely on a dime and on a budget, and I will have all of those linked at budgetgirl.com, and we'll go over them briefly here. The very first part is to make sure that you have a plan for an emergency. Consider your relationships around you and your area, as in who do you need to communicate this plan with, your spouse, your kids, your family, and where are you and what type of disasters affect that area. When I lived back in Arkansas, tornadoes were a very real disaster that regularly happened. When I lived on the Mississippi Gulf Coast, hurricanes were the big thing that we had to prepare for. And depending on what type of disaster affects your area is kind of what you need to prep for. Currently, where I live in Texas, we aren't really affected by hurricanes or tornadoes, but winter storms can come and black us out for a while. So that's generally what I prepare for. This isn't zombie apocalypse preparation. This is very realistic, what actually happens and will happen in your lifetime kind of stuff. Part 2 is to build an emergency preparedness kit, because power, water outages are absolutely going to happen to you at some point in your life. And if you have a basic kit of clean water, non-perishable food, and other basics, it will make the disaster so much more comfortable for you and potentially save your life. FEMA and myself recommend that every family should have enough to get them through a 3-day emergency, which is about how long it usually takes for help to come or for some situations like that to be resolved. If nothing else, it's a starter. It's like a starter emergency fund. You've got something there. And if you want to buff it up later, that's up to you. I have a guide at budgetgirl.com on how to create your own kit for under $30. I also have 2 other guides on how to create a DIY cooking, cleaning, and hygiene kit, which is great if you want to do more than just eat like Nutri-Grain bars for 3 days. And then I also have a guide on how to do bug out bags if a situation gets so bad that you have to leave. I also have an emergency prep video series here on YouTube, which I will link below. That's it for emergency preparedness. Let's go on to challenge number 2, and that is to check your insurance and or your benefits usage. So most large companies, like the one that I work at, A&M, have fiscal years that begin in either January or September. Mine is now. For me, that means that it's open enrollment time for me to review my benefits coverage and insurance allocations and everything like that. And it gives me the opportunity to change anything or add additional things on. Even if you're fully happy with what coverage you have, now is a really good time to go in and make sure that you're getting use out of what you're paying for. Some oft forgotten or underutilized benefits that you may be paying for include vision care. Most policies cover an eye exam and new glasses or contacts every year, but most people don't utilize that every year. And by the way, even if you don't have any symptoms or vision problems, doctors recommend getting your eyes examined based on your age. So if you're 20 to 39, you should get your eyes examined every 5 years. If you're 40 to 54, you should get them examined every 2 to 4 years. And if you're above 55, you should get them examined every 1 to 3 years. Another benefit that you might be paying for and not utilizing is gynecological care if you're a woman. So women between the ages of 21 and 29 should see the gynecologist every single year, and women 30 and up are supposed to see the gynecologist every other year if you're in good health. not pregnant, or not being treated for any diseases. And then women who are 66 and up who have had 3 or more clear pap smears can stop annual visits if they wish. Good for them. And then the final benefit that you should really check into is your company retirement match. So if you're not taking advantage of a company's retirement match, then you're rejecting part of your compensation package and honestly turning down free money. I'm sorry. It could compound into millions at retirement. Yes, utilizing a company match means turning down part of your paycheck for the future version of you to get that matched funding, but if there's any way that you can afford to go without those funds, it's essentially doubling your money, and then that compounds until retirement. It's an excellent and very, very underutilized resource, especially for women. Make sure to check your benefits or contact Human Resources to ask about how to enroll and how to get the highest possible match. Our final challenge is an easy one. Challenge number 3 is do a clothing audit before you shop for new fall and winter clothing. You guys know that I am like a fashion girly, so this is hard, but I guarantee you it's an absolute game changer. And even though I want to go shop for like cute fall clothing when it's 100 degrees out, I absolutely am going to make sure to look through my old winter clothing and see what I have before I buy new. So I highly encourage you to also do a clothing audit, see what you have, any holes in your wardrobe, and figure out what you want and need to get you through this next kind of cooler clothing season. If your boots were absolutely busted by the end of last winter, then you can shop guilt-free for something new for fall. And I actually encourage you to do it now before all the best stuff gets sold out. But if you have 30 sweaters, almost, I encourage you to sort through those, figure out which ones you actually wear, maybe sell or donate the rest of them before you go shopping for more Halloween sweaters. They're so cute. It's too hot here for them. I also have a guide on how to sell your stuff more easily, both on TikTok, and I will link it down below. Next up, what is on sale in September? So everything goes on sale eventually, and if you can time some of your bigger purchases based around seasonal sales, you can save some absolute money. Please allow this to educate you and not encourage you to spend if you don't need to. On sale in September is generally mattresses and linens. There are generally Labor Day sales for mattresses in early September, and this is one of 2 times during the year that mattresses tend to go on super clearance. The other is around Memorial Day. You may also find some better than normal deals on bedding, bath, and like towels over Labor Day weekend. Next, airfare for holiday trips may be the cheapest around this month. So the best deals on flights usually happen about 8 weeks before departure. So for Thanksgiving, that would be the 3rd or the 4th week of September. And you can start looking, but do so in like an incognito browser so they can't track your cookies and up the price now. For large appliances like washers, dryers, and dishwashers, now is a good month to shop. In September, a lot of the big brands start to load new year models, and they offload perfectly good ones for a little bit cheaper. However, this does ramp up more in November and December, so if you can wait, it might be worth it. If you're a fan of Apple products, this might be your month. Generally, the new version of iPhone will launch in September, and then all of the previous models get a little bit discounted. Plants like landscaping plants, perennials, and just kind of other spring-y summer plants are going to go on sale this month. Home type box stores are trying to sell them out so that they don't have to keep them throughout the winter whenever they're going to just kind of shrivel up and die. So if you are a plant person, it might be a good time to get some stuff for your lawn, or perennials where they'll grow back next year, even if they look a little gross now. Next, summer supplies are also going to be on sale this month. Lawnmowers, grills, swimsuits, any sort of outdoor products are going to be cleared out for fall stuff, so you're going to see discounts on those, essentially until there aren't any anymore. School supplies will be on sale this month after the August back to school rush. There won't be as many supplies, but you might be able to find them on really, really good clearances. And finally, denim is probably going to go on sale this month at a lot of places. Generally, it's a back to school offloading. Also, after the August rush, generally those go on markdown/clearance. If your food budget is hurting, you might be able to find some really good discounts this month because of some national days and months and the sales associated with them. So September is National Chicken Month, National Potato Month, and National Rice Month. And there are also food holidays honoring bacon, cheese, pizza, guacamole, cheeseburgers, and lobster in September. I don't know the specific days, you can look them up, but often supermarkets and even brands will have sales associated with those types of holidays. Some things that I'd highly advise for you to avoid purchasing this month, because you'll probably end up paying more than you would other times of year, is Android products. Android launches new phones in October, so if you wait until then or until Black Friday, you'll likely get a better deal. On TVs, I also encourage you to wait for Black Friday. Right now, prices are as high as they're gonna get, and you should only purchase a new TV if you really, really need one. And then finally, fall clothing. Because it's just becoming fall season and stores are unloading all of this, fall clothing is going to be at its highest prices. You might get some Labor Day sales, but honestly, fall clothing isn't going to start to get marked down until late October. Let's talk about what's in season as far as fruits and vegetables, because you can save big on groceries just by shopping for what is in season. For fruits this month, apples, apricots, blackberries, cantaloupe, corn, figs, grapes, melons, nectarines, plums, peaches, pomegranates, raspberries, tomatoes, and watermelon are all going to be on sale. And for vegetables, artichokes, Brussels sprouts, butternut squash, celery root, cucumbers, eggplant, green beans, chives, carrots, potatoes, okras, onions, peppers, pumpkins, sweet onions, summer squash, winter squash, and zucchini are all in season and likely to be the cheapest that they're gonna be. I would love to know if you think that I missed anything. What else should we budget for in September? Is there anything that you're going to be shopping for this month or avoiding? And of course, you can check out all of the resources that I have associated with this at budgetgirl.com that I will have linked below. I hope you enjoyed this video and make sure to subscribe and come back for the next one. Bye.